Today we're going to take a look at the quirkiest, the weirdest, and the most unusual dishes you never knew existed, from food that watches you while you eat it, to food that can literally kill you. It's unbelievable what some people actually hate. So here are the top 5 most unusual foods in the world. Number 5. Casu marzu. Welcome to the wonderful world of casu marzu, a contentious cheese that's so controversial it's actually illegal in some places. Why? Because it's riddled with live insect larvae. Yep, this cheese contains the live larva of the cheese fly, or the Pyophila ksi, as it's scientifically called. Apparently, the live insect larva plays a crucial role in the cheese's fermentation process. Now, the cheese itself comes from sheep's milk and is creamy, soft, and pliable. The texture is similar to other spreadable cheeses, namely brie or Crema-Bear. But unlike brie, casu marzu has some added texture and flavor thanks to those insects. Larva. The dish comes from Sardinium, where it's considered to be a traditional delicacy. However, over the years, casu marzu has been banned in the European Union. Whether or not it met health and safety standards has been highly questionable, so for a while the sale of it was illegal. However, in 2005, the EU recognized the cultural significance of the cheese and allowed it to be produced and sold again, as long as it meets some pretty hefty hygiene standards. So how does one eat this soft, larvae-laden cheese? Well, it's commonly spread on bread or crackers, and it's worth noting that some people prefer to remove the live larva before chowing down others, though not so much. They claim that the larva is just part of the experience. You're watching Chasing Sunset's Top 5. Number 4. Ballot eggs are not an unusual food. In fact, they are probably one of the most common foods around. At least chicken eggs or other types of eggs are a little less common, like duck eggs. But even duck eggs aren't that uncommon. A fertilized duck egg with a partially developed embryo. However, now we're getting into the realm of unusual. Behold ballot, a street food from Southeast Asia, particularly the Philippines, and basically balut is a fertilized egg that's been allowed to partially develop. So in addition to including the familiar yolk we're all used to, the egg has an additional surprise inside the semi-developed embryo of a duck. The age of ballot varies, but the common is anywhere from 16 to 21 days. By this time, the embryo has developed distinct features like bones, a beak, and even feathers. The egg is simply boiled and then seasoned with salt, although sometimes it's served with vinegar or chili, because vinegar and chili go well. With partially developed embryo, the dish has quite a bit of health benefits. It's a good source of protein, minerals, and vitamins. It also has calcium, iron, and other nutrients. And while the thought of eating a semi-grown duckling might have some of us gagging, ballot has pretty hefty cultural significance in the countries it comes from. In the Philippines, ballot is a symbol of Filipino resilience and resourcefulness, because it was once an accessible and cheap source of nutrition during hard times. Needless to say, ballot is somewhat controversial, and the opinions about it vary greatly. It's also an acquired taste, as beak and bone isn't for everyone. Number 3. Hakash. If you like the taste of fermented shark meat that smells like ammonia, then open wide for the impossible to pronounce hakash. It's a traditional Icelandic food, and it's known for the weird way that it's prepared, as well as for its super strong odor. It's made from Greenland shark. Now, this Greenland shark can't be eaten fresh. This level of urea are too high for human consumption, so it is considered toxic. But instead of just accepting the fact that maybe we shouldn't eat this particular shark, someone found a way around the whole toxic thing. When the meat is fermented, it becomes safe for consumption. Now, the traditional method of preparing it involves burying the shark meat in a shallow pit or hole that's been dug into the ground. To compress, the meat stones are placed on top of it, and the meat is left to ferment from anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks. Yummy. But that's not all. As a result of the fermentation process, it develops a strong ammonia-like odor. The odor is really pungent, and for those not used to it, it can be really off-putting. The smell, though, is the most distinctive characteristic of this unusual Icelandic delicacy. The flavor is fishy. Very fishy, man, because it's fermented. It's got a pretty unique texture, too. It's been around for centuries in Iceland, when it started during a time when shark meat was fermented for preservation. Today, this most often served as an appetizer or as a snack. It's not a food staple in Iceland, but more of a novelty, with its popularity steeped in its cultural significance. And of course, ammonia-scented fermented Greenland shark meat is an acquired taste. Number 2. Sonakshi. Sonakshi is a famous Korean dish that really brings you up close and personal with the ocean's wiggly wonders. Why? Because when it comes to sonaki, the fresher the better. As in still alive on the plate, sonakshi features small octopus, sometimes known as baby octopuses, that are still alive when they're served. They don't stay alive for long, though, because the shift comes by to prepare them. Chefs chop it into bite-sized pieces, and then it's consumed immediately. And even though it's dead, it can still move around a bit due to nerves. So yeah, the pieces can wriggle and squirm on your plate, and probably in your stomach furthermore. There's a bit of danger involved when eating this dish. The octopus pieces are incredibly chewy, and diners have to be careful while chewing. Since the suction cups can stick to your mouth and throat, cenache is usually served with a tasty dipping sauce, often made with soy sauce, sesame oil, and some spices. The sauce adds some extra flavor, and perhaps a little lubrication. In any case, eating some nakshi is a culinary experience best suited for those who want their food to move in their mouth, and for those who don't mind a little choking hazard with their meal, and for those who probably want to see their food slaughtered right before they eat it. Number 1. Koi pig is a pretty common food. Guinea pigs are a pretty common pet, and people don't commonly eat pets, but in South America, namely in Peru, Ecuador, and Bolivia, guinea pigs aren't a common pet. Can you guess where I'm going with this? Yep, cuy is a roasted guinea pig. Now, in many parts of the world, guinea pigs are cherished as cute and cuddly pets. However, in South America, particularly in the Andean regions, they're also raised for their meat. Cuy is considered a traditional delicacy, though it's not an average weekday meal. It's also not new. Cuy has been part of South American diets for centuries. Even before the arrival of Europeans, indigenous communities in the Andes Mountains raised guinea pigs and ate them because they're a valuable source of protein. The meat is lean, flavorful, and very nutritious. The taste is said to be a cross between a chicken and a rabbit. Koi is typically roasted whole, often seasoned with spices and herbs, until it becomes crispy and golden brown. It's reserved for special occasions and celebrations. And while the idea of eating guinea pig may seem unusual to some, it's an important part of South American culture and heritage. Furthermore, raising guinea pig is environmentally sustainable because they require less land and less food compared to larger livestock animals. Thanks for watching. See you next time.